Remember that? That was our logo in the 70s. Well, today we're going to help jog a lot more of your memories as online helps celebrate CFCF's 35th anniversary.
We're the one to look for action, the one to see what's new. We're the one with the main attraction, and we want to give it to you. We're the one to hit you harder, the one to play it soft. We're the one to watch, we're the one to watch.
Top of the line, complete rhythm and soul. Stars in the spotlight, laying the roll, going head to head for the victory. Still giving you the best of the best of the best.
We're the one with all the winners, taking you to number one. The one to watch, CFCF 12.
Well, at the risk of sounding a little bit like a cheerleader, CFCF has been the one to watch for many of you for 35 years now. And over the next hour, we're going to bring back all kinds of special memories of CFCF's past. Hi, Mo. How are you? Thank you very much.
How are you?
Mose Persico is the PA on our show, and actually we started here at CFCF the same time, around 11 years ago, right?
That's right.
But of course the history goes back a lot further, and let me just take you through the hallways here. Okay, we'll see you later, Mo. Hi, these are the people from our traffic department who organize all of the ads that you see on CFCF, and we've got some promotions people here as well. Good morning. Happy anniversary, everyone. Come down this way. I'll show you some more. This is the hallway that many people who've worked at CFCF or been guest stars on many of the shows that we've produced here over the years will remember as sort of one of the symbols of CFCF, this long hallway which leads you down to many of the studios. And let me just take you into one of the better-known studios here at CFCF. This is Studio 2, which is our larger studio. And currently it's being used by Télévision, go ahead of me, Boris, after you. It's being used by Télévision 4 Saisons for a show called Besoin d'Amour. But let me just lead you through here, because I want to try and stir up a few memories for you. As you can see, the sets and the floors and the designs have all changed, but there was a time when perhaps you sat in that audience to watch shows like Excuse My French, or maybe Grand Prix Wrestling. You remember that one? How about game shows like The Mad Dash and Beat the Clock? Or perhaps you twisted a little for Like Young, that dance show that was so popular with so many of us. I remember sitting at home watching that and thinking, one of these days I'm going to get a chance to go on Like Young. Just part of all the memories that we're going to share here with you today on Online as we look back at 35 glorious and fun years of broadcasting. Let's continue. We'll go out of the studio and we'll head over to the studio where we do Online. Whoops, we'll go this way. Nice sets. Now, there used to be a time when CFCF produced all kinds of variety programming, game shows, as I said, wrestling. We had so many different types of productions here that we used to use 3 studios just about all year round. Now, most of our productions are produced out of Studio 1, which we're going to get to in a second. But first, I want you to just see, this is VTR. This is where all of the shows that you see on CFCF 12 are recorded. Hi, everybody. Happy anniversary. Everybody working hard in here?
Oh, yeah, we are.
Okay. Boris, let's go into studio. See you later, guys. Okay, now this is Studio 1, where we're going to be producing today's Online. This is Sarah Martel, one of our researchers. Say hi, Sarah. Hi. Peter Au, our producer-director. And as you can see, people are frantic right now because we are doing a live show. Thank you, Peter. Always the gentleman, Peter Au. So here we are in the Online and Pulse studio. You recognize the anchor desk where Mitsumi and Bill sit every night and deliver the news to you. And here we are in familiar territory at the online set. Now, where am I going to sit for today's show? I'm going to sit over here. Okay. We are all set and ready to go. Are you ready to relive 35 years, glorious years with us? Then strap on your seatbelts, because when I come back, we are going to turn the clock back with a very versatile broadcaster who hosted one of the first music shows ever here at CFCF. Stay with us.
Just went right down the drain. But it's fun.
You like it?
Oh, I would love to.
Live from Studio 2, this is Like Young. Now, here are the stars of the show, Diane Dickinson and Jim McKenna.
Look at those outfits and that music. It was a groovy time here at CFCF when Like Young was on the air. And there were all kinds of great shows, and we're going to keep looking back on all those shows as we spend our hours celebrating CFCF's 35th anniversary. And our first guest here to help us do it was one of the 9 originals to sign on with CFCF 12 way back in 1961. He hosted shows like Sunset Theater, Little White Lie, and he wasn't afraid to mix it up with some of the city's toughest interviewees either. Let's roll the tape.
Take my throat, for instance. Where do you think I got that from talking like this?
Did you get that in the
Sucking
radio?
on lemons? No. I got that from a dirty chap
What, in the
in
throat?
Seattle, Washington, yes. He gave me a right here in the throat, and,
I believe you.
and today a guy like Ricochet make fun of me, tried to mock me. But regardless, when I step in that ring, my opponents know that the Mad Dog's going to give them the fight of their life. I'm out there to win.
Well,
And sooner or later, Capozzi going to give me a match for the championship of the world.
Maurice, that's all the time we have. Thank.
What's this, water?
I'm sorry. It is. That's it. We'll be back in a moment.
Can you believe that? What a smooth way to go to commercial. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a face and a voice for CFCF from 1961 to 1986. We all saw him. We welcome him back, Mr. Jack Curran. Jack, come on up. Come on down. Oh, come on. It's not that bad, is it? How are you?
Good.
Welcome back.
Thank
so
you.
good to see you. Have a seat. We'll put a microphone on you.
I feel like I should be in a wheelchair or something.
Oh, no. You look great. This is familiar to you, all of this,
yeah,
I guess?
sure.
Now, tell me about that interview with Mad Dog as we root that microphone up there.
Things happened on that wrestling show that are certainly not airable. I once asked Killer Kowalski, you know, those wrestlers, they're ageless. And one
Just
time,
like you, right?
Yeah. And I asked him, I said, how old are you anyway? And there was this long pause in the studio, and finally he looked me right in the eye and he gave me the F word. And that was cut.
Was that live?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but it never got shown.
Videotape was
Yeah.
around back then.
Oh yeah, no, there was some, but what a great bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Honest to God, you couldn't spend time with a nicer bunch of people than those wrestlers, because a lot of them, you know, are college bred. They learned their wrestling in college. They're learned. They're smart. Don Leo Jonathan was a president of a big corporation. Giant Jean Ferret was a sweetheart of a man. You know, I once put his jacket on and I looked like a little kid wearing his father's jacket, you know.
Yeah.
Huge man.
Yeah.
Great guys. Great guys.
Tough guys, too, but that
Oh,
was
yeah.
all in fun.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh sure. Absolutely.
Tell me about Little White Lie. What kind of a show was that?
Oh God. That was a disaster. A Little White Lie was based on was a panel show, and it was based on the premise that the guest coming on had a lie contained in the summary that was read about them. And the panel's job, through questioning, was to find out what the lie was.
Who were the panelists?
Oh, we used to fly people in from Hollywood. We had Arthur Treacher, Jacques Bergerac, we had Stubby Kaye. We had a lot of people. We used to fly the guests in, you know. It was sponsored by a brewery, and they had big bucks. and then there were, I'm trying to think of some of the people, Dwayne Kaye and Oliver Clausen and...
So the aim of the show, though, was to try and find out what the lie was. And
very weak premise indeed.
Okay, so it didn't last more than a season or so?
One season, yeah.
So what were some of the better shows that you worked on here at CFCF? The one that bring back the fondest memories?
Well, in town. I did a show in town for, I think it was about 6 years, and it was a daily show like this. And the parade of guests, don't forget that while that was going on, Expo 67 was going on, and leading on into the Olympics in 76. So there was a, I used to take the show on the road.
An exciting time in the city in general.
Yeah, oh yeah, and big stars. I mean, I sit now and watch all the people I've interviewed on Entertainment Tonight dying. You know, I mean, I bought pictures with me, and I don't know whether you're going to be able to show them, but there were, you know, there was Danny Kaye, and there was Lucille Ball, and there was Jane Mansfield, and on the list of stars, Jack Jones. They all came to town that year, and we had every one of them on the show. Maurice Chevalier was on the show, and a marvelous time.
A glorious time for broadcasting and for Hollywood and entertainment in general, and you were part of it.
But that was exciting, but to me, the most exciting thing I did here was 16 years of travel.
Yeah, yeah.
That was fun.
Travel from a studio a lot of the time, but you did get a chance to see some of those exotic locations. And Don McGowan, of course, picked up and picked up where you left off.
Well, they had to name the show twice when I left and hire 4 hosts.
Okay, well, listen, I have to introduce...
Skippy always wanted that show.
I have to introduce somebody that you definitely will remember, because I know that you got a chance to work with this gentleman. He's described as the man with the velvet voice, but he was also known to do a few Hercs for the old Hercules show. Remember that? His first gig here at CFCF 12 was as host of a variety show called Carte Blanche. Let's go back.
And now, here is your host for Carte Blanche, Jimmy Tapp.
Well, bonsoir, mes amis, and welcome. This is Carte Blanche, where we hope to bring you the sights and the sounds of our swinging metropolis. And tonight here on Carte Blanche, you're going to get an opportunity to meet some of our regulars.
There he is, or there he was, and joining us now live on the phone from his home in Oakville, Ontario, is the man himself, Mr. Jimmy Tapp. Hello, Jimmy, are you there?
Hey, we're online with Caroline.
Hey, how are you?
This is such fun listening to all these reminiscing that's going on.
You still sound great. You still have that smooth velvet voice. How are you doing?
All the great food I had in Montreal over the years.
Yes, I imagine you did indulge a little bit. Tell us a bit about some of the shows that you worked on. Carte Blanche, of course, was a major variety show in its time.
I'm trying to remember how many shows we did do Carte Blanche, and then we did a game show called Akin to Win, which was we did five a week on that, and then one special network show on Sunday nights. And then there was Jimmy Tapp and his friends, and how many other titles? Mountain Sing-Along was a kind of a fun show where we went on remote and had a little band and went up to the mountain and Beaver Lake, and the crowds joined in the singing. We had sing-songs and all kinds of fun. But I guess our first home 35 years ago was in the old Laurier Theater, which was an abandoned theater on Laurier Avenue, and our first show there was Carte Blanche, as you mentioned.
So you were
the
doing
magazine format.
So you were doing that show from the theater, not from the studios here at CFCF?
No, the building was just being completed then at 405 Ogilvie. So
well, you're bringing us way
we were in this
back.
old theater, and it was pretty rough.
Remember the rats there, Jimmy?
Do I remember the what?
The rats in the old building?
I remember a shaky fire escape because Jerry Rochon used to say he'd like me to make a different entrance every day on the show. And I had to climb up this fire escape, and as I got halfway up, I noticed that it was swinging a little bit, swaying out, and I noticed a couple of bolts that were halfway in and halfway out, and I was very happy to make it to the top.
So they asked you to do some dangerous things back in those days.
Well, one of the entrances every day was a different entrance. They'd pick me up walking down Laurier Avenue or getting out of my car, and one of the shots the boys liked best, the crew would say, "Oh, I love the way you cross the street and come up the stairs." So I said, why do they like that so much? I finally found out it's because Wilson's Tavern was in the background, and that was the great watering hole for all the crew. And they were treated royally after every show.
That was definitely part of CFCF's history as well. We won't be going into too much detail about that on today's show, but Jimmy, hang on, because I want you to talk to and hear somebody else that both of you gentlemen know, and we all know, as a matter of fact, if you were watching CFCF back in 1961 when we first went on the air, because she was the first female announcer at CFCF 12 and was part of the original Pulse team along with Dean Kay and Brian McFarlane, and everyone who worked with her said she was all class.
And now, Maurice and Freddie, thank you again for coming down. Here's Marge Anthony to talk about fashions with Mimi Gay.
And who is more qualified to talk about fashions than my guest, who is the director of the Fashion Arts Academy? Is that right, Mimi? Fashion Arts Academy.
Well, there. That was, of course, Marge Anthony, one of Jimmy's co-hosts on Carte Blanche, and she joins us now online from her home in Ottawa. Good morning, Marge.
Good morning.
So great to hear from you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. I'm so sorry I can't be there, but I've enjoyed listening to those smooth characters. Jimmy just sounds the same as he did, how many years, 35 years ago? Mm-hmm. So smooth and beautiful. Oh, dear, look at these pictures.
Well, beautiful is a word I think many people around here would have used and probably still use to describe you. In fact, when we were looking at the tape, one of the PA said, okay, maybe not in that shot.
That's for Jimmy.
Maybe not in that shot. But certainly the name Marilyn Monroe was used when we looked at that interview there with that woman who you were interviewing about fashion. Do you recall that interview?
No, well, not vaguely. Vaguely, I did quite a few of them. I know that when my first fashion interviews were so terrifying to me because I really didn't know the names of the designers and so on. I remember the first time I saw names like Yves Saint Laurent and Givenchy come up on an auto cue. I thought, my God, what is that name?
But you looked great, so you didn't have to worry. Now listen, you only stayed here for, what, a year or so, right, Marge?
Just a short time, yes, and then I went to the United States.
Uh-huh.
And I went first to Texas, and I produced a television show in Texas. And on that show, I met the Smothers Brothers. And they said, if you ever come to California, we'd love to have you work for us. So I immediately packed my bags and went to California.
And you hung out with the Smothers Brothers.
With the Smothers Brothers.
That must have been a ride and a half.
Well, it was for 13 years, actually.
Whoa.
I stayed with them 13 years. I started with them, and then they were fired by CBS, you know, in the great scandal where David Steinberg did a silly, there was nothing, actually. Today it would mean nothing. But, and during that period, I went to New York, worked with a record company, and then when they came back to work, I went back with them and stayed with them until they retired.
And you also worked with Neil Diamond for a time?
Yes, I met Neil through them again, and I retired for one day, actually, and I ran into Neil in my neighborhood, and he talked me into coming back to work.
Some neighborhood you must have had, Marge.
Well, I lived in Malibu, Jack. I went directly to the best spot.
Good for you.
As you know. And then I worked for Neil for about 6 years in production. I did a couple of television programs production with him and a world tour.
And then you came back to Toronto or Canada.
And then I met my honey, and he told me it was time to come home to Canada, and so I did. And I live I went with CTV in Toronto, and I loved my job there. I loved CTV.
You became a big wheel there, didn't you, Marge?
Well, I was a vice president, Jack, but you know what that means.
You're too modest.
In the cog.
By the way, I hear Lloyd Robertson is celebrating a birthday today as well, so it's a big birthday party here.
Oh, is he? Oh, wonderful. I must call him.
So you're no longer working with CTV right now, though?
No, I'm retired now. I'm a little wife living on a pond in the middle of Ottawa. It's so beautiful here. And I work in my garden, and I do charity work whenever I can. And I have a lovely life. I have 4 grandchildren. My husband gave me 3 beautiful daughters and 4 beautiful grandchildren. And
whoa.
So I have a lovely life.
Sounds like the perfect setting for someone of your class. Thanks very much for joining us today, Marge, and bringing us up to date on what's going on with you.
Thank you, Caroline. It's been a pleasure, and I enjoy you every day. I watch you.
Oh, thanks very much. Happy anniversary to you, Marge.
Thank you, and hello, Jimmy and Jack.
Oh, good to talk to you, Marge. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, later on in the show, you know his voice, but do you remember his time as a TV game show host? Maybe this will help you.
You can act it out for your partner. 20 seconds, 3 words, and it's your move. Go.
Third word, cigarette. First word, hat. Angel. Crown. Crown. Queen, crown, cigarette. Cigarette, queen.
It's hot in here, eh? Welcome back. Well, Pulse News has been the flagship show of CFCF 12 since we first beamed our first signal way back in 1961. And through the years, it's been distinguished with #1 ratings and awards. And the people on it have been a part of your family. And through it all, we've managed to have some fun as well. Whoever said news was all serious anyway?
What is this, Will? How dead has it been? How dead has it been? Very dead. How long has it been dead?
It's been quite dead for 2 or 3 days.
Aside from all the national and international stories, we've reported on 55,000, over 55,000.
Unless there be any doubt about it, the Quebec Liberal Party intends to throw all it's got into making sure that he gets there. Brian Nelson, Pulse News.
Barnes says the system appears to be working well, but he warns that fatal accidents might still occur.
What?
You jerks.
You'll never look at Herb Bluff the same, right? I know, we just destroyed the myth of Herb Bluff for you. We're sorry, but hey, these things happen, you know. And here to talk about news and some of her favorite memories of news is one of Pulse's co-anchors, Mitsumi. Hi, welcome to our set for a change.
So much fun.
Why don't you stay and just forget about Pulse
Yeah,
News
not have
for
to
a
talk
while.
about news for a change and not have to be serious for a change. I think it's great.
I'll be Bill Hoagland and you be Mitsumi.
Sure, it's fine.
Okay. He got gray.
Mitz, how many years have you been here now? Because you started off as a reporter. Remember that?
Yeah, I reported for 6 years, and I've been anchoring for, I think in total it's about 12, 13 years now, I think.
So it's getting up there with the rest of us.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, we have Jack here, so...
Yeah, my socks are older than that.
Okay, well, over those years, a lot of weird and wacky things happened to us, as we saw in that report. What are some of the stranger moments?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of the really funny things, maybe I shouldn't be saying some of them are harder to relate. But there was one in particular that I remember. The set caught on fire. We were 60 seconds to air, and all of a sudden, Bill and I noticed that there's smoke coming out. And we're hearing 20, 15, 10, 9. And we're thinking, okay, we can't stay here. So Bill thought really quickly. He said, okay, run over to the weather board. You start the show by yourself on the weather board. So I grabbed the script, and I ran over. And I'm trying to read this very serious intro into the top story of the day. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Bill Hoagland and one of the guys on the crew, and they're beating the desk with their scripts, and they're knocking the chairs over, and everything is just chaotic. And we finally got through. We finally put the fire out. We finally got into a commercial, and the news director at the time came in, and he said to me, I think it's interesting that you're trying to come up with new creative ways to open the show, but I don't know if I like that one. I just think...
That must have been Mike Donegan.
Let's not do that again.
Yeah, that's right. The fire alarms were going off, and you guys just kept it together. Yeah. But definitely some strange things happen. You've all heard rumors of people sitting at their underwear at the news desk. I don't think it happens too often, but there have been... You definitely don't sit with your... I can attest to that. I see Mitsumi every day. She's always fully clothed, okay? I don't want to destroy any of those.
There goes another fantasy.
Okay. Well, your co-anchor, Bill Hoagland, of course, couldn't be here with us right now because he comes in every afternoon at around 2 o'clock to prepare for the 6 o'clock and late show. And he's been anchoring Pulse for close to 20 years now, but he did have these words for us. Take it away, Bill.
35 years. Wow. It seems we barely blinked. I've shared all 3.5 decades with a lot of really talented people. And by this I mean talented people both on air and off air here at CFCF. My first few years were with radio down at Dominion Square, where we ran an integrated radio TV operation. Later on, when our 405 Ogilvy Avenue headquarters first opened, we would hold 2 microphones as reporters out on the road, one for CFCF radio and, of course, one for Pulse News. It would be impossible to go down the list of people I've known and worked with. There are just so many of them, some still here, as I am, others who've retired or moved on to other broadcast markets. Suffice it to say, I have made a great many friends over the years. What I'd like to do, apart from saying how much they meant to me on a personal level, is to look back at some of the personalities you might remember who were here in the heyday of CFCF and who have since passed on. It seems, as the lyrics of the song go, that we just looked around and they were gone.
Murder on the waterfront. It happened last night when a 55-year-old tavern manager was shot down during a holdup on Lower St. Lawrence Boulevard.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Marquis, and this is Pulse.
It's an indication of your complete senility, or the fact that you have made a friend amongst the poor, downtrodden students of that magnificent, well-subsidized University of Montreal.
It is the people of Pulse who make the program work. The on-camera people you welcome into your homes each day, but behind the scenes is a small army of people hard at work.
That was, of course, Ted Ziegler, who is better known to many of us as Johnny Jellybean at his finest. And Johnny is now living, or I should say Ted is now living in Los Angeles and couldn't be with us here today, but he would no doubt pull a trick or two on us. But one man who is here today and who's worn the crown as the king of Montreal English AM radio for many years now, also had a bit of a switch in his broadcasting career for a while when he was in front of the cameras here at CFCF. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who many of you wake up to each and every morning, George Balkan. George, come on up. I feel like saying, it's your move. How are you?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Thanks for coming in and sharing this anniversary with us.
Oh,
we're going to put a microphone on you. In the meantime, we're going to show a bit of George at his best. Here's a bit of It's Your Move.
Here's the star of It's Your Move, George Balkan.
Hi there. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And thank you for coming to the studio with us today. It's going to be an exciting day, we feel, here at It's Your Move. It's the old game with a new twist. It's the charade game where you act out a charade for your partner. If you get it in the time you bid, you got 1 point. If you don't win it, we give the point to the opposition. It takes 3 points to win a game, 10 games, and you've got the grand prize.
George, look at the hair.
Look at the hair.
So you want to be on television, eh, kid?
Yes. Oh, that was an era in the middle 1970s when we all went to the same hairdresser.
Yeah.
And it was required. You had to have an afro.
A perm.
For about a year and a half.
Whatever that was.
it was awful.
I think I used to just stick my finger in a light socket.
It would do the same thing.
Whose management decision was that, by the way?
He's no longer here.
Okay. Thank goodness.
No, it was a lot of fun. It really was. It was 2 of the best years in my broadcasting career, and it was an awful lot of fun.
Not the most lucrative, but some of the best.
True. I mean, the grand prize. I still bump into people.
I was going to say, what was it, a watch or a...
No, a watch.
Oh, that was two.
No, you could win
pantyhose.
Pantyhose, a year's supply of pantyhose. Or if you were really lucky, you could get an entire wall of Z-brick. Or Z-brick, as we said in Canada.
Yes.
They were really high-class prizes. The funny thing about it was that the show was really popular. I mean, it was a lot of people wanted to be on it.
I watched it all the time. I remember.
Oh, sure. Yeah, remember right after you finished your homework, you did it.
That's right. Exactly, 1974, 75, and then there were reruns for quite a few years as well.
Yeah.
So
No pay for that, exactly.
I guess some things never change.
Yeah.
Seldom, yeah.
But what was it like for you? Because had you been ever doing work in front of the cameras before, or was this your first adventure in television?
No, they asked me to come over, and I was going to do radio here and at CFCF, and I decided I was going to come here for a couple of years. And they said, would you like to try out for a television show? So I did that. We did matinee. Everybody had a crack at matinee. I mean,
Me too.
Yeah.
What was matinee again?
That was a
matinee
movie
with
show.
Joe Van, was it?
Yeah, Joe
well,
Van was
Joe
the
Van
original
passed on.
superstar. Yeah.
Right, right.
But it was a lot of fun. It was very different. It was a real challenge, and that's really why I said yes. It was another way to express yourself, and it was a lot of fun.
So you had enough after 2 years and vamoosed back to radio?
Yeah. Well, I liked getting up early, and I'll be very honest with you. On radio, you do it, you say it, it's gone. On television, people don't understand that we've been hanging around here for 40 minutes just waiting to get on the air, and then it's stop and go. And
Hurry up and
go.
wait.
Yeah.
Even though this is live, we have to say, I don't want people to think this is all taped and everything.
No.
Otherwise, some of the things we've said here probably wouldn't have made air already.
A lot of things you couldn't do anyway. I remember when we were doing the show, when we were doing It's Your Move, the best part of the program wasn't the stuff you saw on camera, because behind the flats, which were at either side of the stage, there were members of the stage crew holding up pictures, usually of animals, strange animals, and once in a while, Don McGowan in a Speedo or something like that. And,
or flashing.
Yeah, flashing you know. So there was always a sort of a weirdness to this place. It was this very studio.
Yeah, the stagehands are notorious for that, because I've heard some stories about poor old Johnny Jellybean getting vodka in his milk
they did to him.
And just some really, really bad things. But
when he would go to the door to greet Maury the mailman,
yeah.
I could never tell you what used to confront him outside that door that nobody could see but him.
Well, listen, speaking of surprises, we've got lots more in store for you. Do you remember, for example, this gentleman?
Look, hey, look at that, Tammy. Isn't she cute with a mustache? Hey? Oh, I've never seen a girl with a mustache. Yeah. Okay, let's take time out now, and we'll have some messages, and then we'll come back and see. I wonder who's going to be on the show next week, eh? I wonder if Peter Rabbit's ready. Let's have our messages first.
I don't know whether we're supposed to say happy birthday to ourselves or not, but I've been here 27 of the 35-year history of CFCF 12. Happy birthday to us, all of us.
Happy birthday, CFCF 12. It's been a real party for the last 35 years.
Hi, I'm Beryl Rickard, and I've been answering the phones here for approximately 26 years. I've enjoyed working with everybody here, and I've enjoyed meeting a lot of celebrities, including Denny Gallivan and Jean Beliveau, and my favorite singer, Al Martino. Happy birthday to all of us.
Happy anniversary, CFCF, and thank you to all our viewers for watching us all those years.
CFCF was only 10 when I first came here, and now it's 35. That 25 years sure flew by quickly. I guess it does when you're having fun. Well, happy 35th, CFCF 12.
Happy 35th birthday, CFCF. My name is Margaret Zahork. I'm a producer-director here at CFCF. I started here, 33 years ago. I was only 4.
Happy birthday, CFCF. 35 and more to come.
Oh, well said, Suzanne. And we are back celebrating our 35th anniversary and hopefully more. Those are some of the familiar faces from our station, some of the people that are still here with us today. And one of the shows that I personally, and I think our entire staff here on Online, grew up with was the Magic Tom Show. The beloved magician who worked not only in English but French as well, didn't know that, and never minded sharing his magical secrets with us. He was also a man with a very generous sweet tooth. Let's watch.
Hey, look at that. We don't have anything. My goodness. Nothing in there at all. So you know what we're going to do? No, there's nothing in there. I tell you what we'll do. We'll just cover this for a minute, and we'll tap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now when we lift this up, woo, look at that. Look at all that. Hey, let's feed our chickadees. Oh, here's a chickadee one for you. Oh, and here's a nice chickadee one for you.
Yes, and all those little chickadees were the stagehands who developed quite a sweet tooth along with Magic Tom. Of course, Magic Tom is no longer with us, but his memories live on in all of our hearts. And joining us is a man who perhaps has some of the sweetest and most vivid memories of Magic Tom Auburn. We welcome to the show now his son, Byron Auburn. Byron, come on down. You are the next contestant on Online Memories.
Hi, Byron. Nice to see you. Welcome. Nice to see you.
Hey, Byron.
Nice
Good to
Caroline.
see you. Thanks for coming on. And you brought your father's magic box.
Yeah, I sure did.
Wow. And it looks a little beat up. Boy, he did an awful lot of tricks over the years for the kids.
Yes, he did. This was a magic box that probably no one's ever seen before. This is his first magic box. If you want to cut the clip on.
Okay, that's all right. All right.
That was the original magic box, so he did go to another one after? Or he?
Well, this was one he had as a young boy.
Mhm.
And then as he got older, he bought more tricks and studied and used to order tricks from New York and places like that.
Yeah. Must have been incredibly special being the son of such a popular man.
It was. It was a pretty tough act to follow,
Mhm.
of course. And he was a great man. He was.
Byron, excuse me,
Sure.
but I remember having a conversation with your father about the difficulties you were having about the ribbing you were being given in school by kids, and you know how cruel kids can be. And I was going through the same thing with my son, who was about the same age.
Who works
And-
here now, by the way.
Yeah.
Followed
but
you
it
after
was
all.
rough on you guys, because especially being Magic Tom, I mean, they were at you constantly, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, but not all the time, but a certain percent of the time, yeah. You
Well,
have
kids
to.
can be mean, you know.
Yes, they can.
But it's interesting in that both your sons did follow you into broadcasting, or both your sons, you also followed your dad into broadcasting.
Yes, I did. I got my start here at CFCF as a stagehand.
Mhm. One of those chickadees.
No, I didn't work on my dad's show too much. I worked on a few other things. A few times I did, though. And then I went on they gave me the opportunity to learn about news, film, and from then I stayed a little longer and I decided to move on and go out a little bit further, so I went on to Toronto. But without CFCF, I wouldn't certainly be where I am right now.
So you're at CFTO now,
Yes.
in charge of the video department there.
Yes, I am.
But let's get back to your dad. Your dad passed away, what, about 6 years ago now?
Yes.
Yeah. People
January
still
3rd.
talk to you about him?
Yes, people in Toronto and people here. There's a lot of memories. I don't think a day goes by that we don't think about him.
You know, when he went to Hawaii, remember he used to go during the winter in the later years, he never failed to send me a postcard or a Christmas card. He never failed to do it. He was a very considerate man.
And he had sort of a magic about him, really, a real magic to him. He was the seventh son of a seventh son. He was born on, was he born on the seventh day?
He was born in 1917 on the seventh day in the seventh hour, right down, and he was very conscious of sevens. He loved anything he saw with sevens
You
in
ever go to
them.
Vegas?
Oh, but my older sister lives in Las Vegas. Yes.
He was so beloved by so many people. It must have been hard for you as a kid, though, to share him with all those other kids.
It was a little bit, but he was such a good guy.
Yeah.
He was very forgiving and very generous, and he was certainly worth sharing.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was. And he's, as you say, his memory is so vivid to so many of us who grew up watching Magic Tom on television and just watching those shows. Brings it all
I've
back.
got something here. I thought this is his first wand.
Oh, my.
And these particular items stay with my mother. And I'm sure Tom would have liked you to hold it on your show.
Oh,
and
thank you so much.
maybe make a wish for all your colleagues here at CFCF Television for the
Okay.
next 35 years.
I will do that right now. I hope that Magic Tom's power is still with this wand, and I wish great success to CFCF 12 and all of our colleagues for the next 35 years and more. And talking about success.
Okay.
Did I do that right? I did
You
that
sure
kind of
did.
wimpy, eh? Okay, let's do
sure
it better. Okay. Talking about success, the next guest that we want to bring on the show is a man who's been a bit of a magician here himself. He started off as a stagehand and I think spent some time in the mailroom as well. Moved slowly but surely up the ranks to become the station's winning Vice President of Programming. His name is Bill Merrill. He's the man responsible for choosing all of the great TV shows that you've seen here on CFCF 12 for the past 35 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the man some people in this building call our godfather and a man with a heck of an Elvis impersonation, Bill Merrill. Bill, come on up.
Bill, 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 Bill.
I feel like we should have an applause track here at least. There we go. Hi, Bill. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
I know you have a busy schedule and you start early every day. Let's get this on you.
Happy birthday to you. I'd like to say that I bought one of Magic Tom's cars one time. It was an Oldsmobile 98. It was so magic it turned into a gas station every 2 minutes.
We're supposed to be sharing the happy memories now,
That was
Bill.
happy.
Yes, it was a happy memory. But so many people have wondered, what's been the secret of your success in making CFC?
Well, I think the very first time that I appeared on television was on Jack Kern's show.
That's right.
I wanted to say it before he said it. And ever since then, it's been pretty good. I don't know. It's been, we've had a great opportunity of doing many different jobs here at CFCF 12, and I enjoy the job I'm doing right now.
If I could, he's being terribly modest. This young man came out of school into this and was a stagehand, but what he's got that makes him unique is he never allows himself to get old. His tastes are
How come
today's
you got all your
tastes.
hair and I haven't got all mine?
Well, that's what happens when you try to stay
Maybe this
young.
magic wand will help.
No, but Bill has remained today. Although he's never let himself be locked into any one particular area. So his tastes are what the tastes are today, and that's what you need in a program director.
Thank you, Jack.
For
Can
sure.
we employ Jack back here at CFCF 12?
Yeah.
I think that's your call more than our call. But you've had a lot of fun, a lot of memories. Share some of the best ones.
Oh, well, first of all, it's the people. I mean, a television station is a television station. You can put on programs, and sometimes they're great programs, but it's all the people that work at the station, the people behind the scenes. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. And I've had a great opportunity working with everybody since day one and before day one. I started in November 1960, along with John Mall and Bud Safford. Some of these guys are still here.
So you were one of the original 9? Because I understand there were like 9 people.
I don't know if there's 9. Somebody has a secret number. I know of 3 others that have been here since day one. And before day one, it's John Mall, who's now at the transmitter, and Bud Safford and Video Services. That's run by Stuart Clark.
Right.
And also George Carter, who's in operations. He and I worked together in Telsini. That's when we used to run movies many years ago. And on Sunset Theater.
You remember film?
And Pajama Playhouse. But I think some of the great times have been the opening of Expo 67. I remember when they handed over the land to the Olympic Committee, and we were down there. I don't know if you remember, Jack, but you could focus a camera on shadflies. There were so many shadflies, and they said they would get rid of it, and they did.
Yeah, they
When
did.
Expo 67
They did a good
started.
job.
What did they do with all those poor little shad flies?
I don't know, but they didn't
They
fly
killed
that
them.
year.
The Metro.
So
The opening Metro.
that was a memory for you, shad flies?
Well, Expo 67 was.
Expo,
Yeah, that was a
And,
great
and after that, I used to do my daily talk show down there. You used to work on that.
Yeah, that's right,
We used to
Jack.
do in town on the site of Man in His World. 5
And
shows a day.
Jack, since you gave me a compliment, I'll give you one. Charles Aznavour on In Town one time,
Yeah.
after the interview, said to Jack, and he's been all over the world, Charles, that was the best interview he's ever had.
Really?
And Jack was not a type of guy that really researched
Except for
it.
the one George did with
Just
him,
did
right?
it.
You know, people used to wonder about me because I didn't want to prepare. I wanted everything to be spontaneous. And once in a while, I'd hit one. But remember the Indian chief from the Micmac tribe and the princess?
yeah.
Bill couldn't straighten up. He's in the corner holding on to a chain laughing. These two came on the show and never said anything but yes and no,
Oh, no.
for 1/2 hour.
And he made it a very interesting interview.
You managed to get through it. Listen, we have to take one last commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to have more celebrations. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Wendy Mesley. I'm with CBC now, but I got my start at CFCF back when it was about half as old as it is now. Anyway, thinking of you today brought back a lot of wonderful memories of the colleagues that I worked with, the newsroom, the stories we covered, like the first referendum, and of course of the city of Montreal. I miss it a lot. It was a fabulous experience, and happy anniversary, CFCF.
For 35 years, you've been the one to watch. Congratulations, CFCF 12.
Birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, CFCF. Happy birthday to us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in the studio. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, George. Thank you so much, Jack, for sharing these memories with us.
Thank you for this trip down memory lane with all these great people.
Yeah, great people, many of whom have spent a lot of their years here at CFCF and made it the great place that it is. And we want to give a special thanks to Margaret Zahorik in production, who helped us prepare for this show. Got Byron's airline ticket. There she is. And all of the people in promotions and sales, especially Hans and Kat in promotions, who provided us with a lot of that great archival footage that we've been enjoying for this past hour. I really hope you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane as much as we have, or I have. Have you guys enjoyed it?
Yeah.
We have to wrap it up pretty soon, but quickly I want to ask just a couple of your names so people at home know who we are. We've got Margaret here. This is
Sarah.
Sarah Martel, who's a researcher on online. Stephanie Hogan. Marta Piovici, a librarian.
Terry Bryan.
Terry Bryan, secretary.
Darlene Tracy.
Darlene Tracy from sales.
Mary Wilson from traffic.
Mary Wilson from traffic. Hi, Chantal, and of course,
Beryl from switchboard.
Hi, Beryl.
She still recognizes your voice every time you call.
Oh, yeah, I never have to tell her who's calling. She says, hi, sweetie.
Most of all, thanks everybody. Most of all, I want to thank you for being such loyal viewers for the past 35 years. Keep watching. We've got lots of more memories in store for you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Till then, it's Gene Wood saying bye-bye for now from the new Beat the Clock. So long, everybody.
Until then, this is yours truly, PK, wishing you love, peace, and happiness. Good night, y'all.
So we'll see you on the next edition of The Mad. Bye-bye, folks. See you next time. Take care now.
And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the cool down.
For everybody, along with me, Dick Irvin, thank you and goodbye.
For Travel, I'm Leslie Roberts. See you later, mate.